Hi everybody, Jessie here from JessieBanks.com and welcome back to another video. So today I have a fun Power Poppy video to share with you guys using the newly released Time Flies digital image. I will have that linked in the description box below. And I'm playing with some of my Daniel Smith paints. So I recently cleaned off my butcher palette. It pained me to do so, but it needed to be done. It was basically just one sheet of mud at this point. So I'm starting off by adding some quinacridone gold into our background here on our leaves. And we're just going to slowly work through everything. Any of you that have watched my watercolor videos before know that these move rather fast. I have it sped up to 5 times the original speed. We're talking somewhere along the lines of 2.5 hours of footage. So I tend to kind of crank up the speed on them a little bit. So I have some... Oh, the first color was Aussie Red Gold, pardon me. Now I have some quinacridone gold. And I'm just giving these leaves just a nice yellow base before I go on top of them with some green. Sap green is what comes next. This is my favorite color. I use this color on every floral painting I have ever done. I don't think I have painted a floral painting that hasn't had sap green in it somewhere. It's kind of one of my go-to colors. It's definitely a favorite of mine. A staple in all of my palettes. So we're continuing to work on these leaves. This image is amazing. I did blow it up a little bit and I printed it on my HP CP 1025 NW color laser jet printer. People always ask me what printer I'm using. That's the one I'm using. I've had it for probably 5 years now. I think I paid $100 for it back then. I doubt they even make it anymore. But I did put through Arch's 140-pound hot press watercolor paper. I've never had an issue sticking watercolor paper through this particular printer. Don't quote me that it's going to work in yours. And if you hurt your printer, I apologize. Please don't blame me. So I'm adding a little bit of a greeny hue to our stems. We are going to end up making them brown, but I do like having that little bit of green in beneath. And our clock face is starting off with just a light coat of buff titanium. And now I'm coming in with some perylene green and I'm mixing it with that sap green just to give it a little bit more of an olivey tone. And I'm still working on those leaves. So I hope everybody is having a wonderful time. You guys are seeing this on Friday the 21st of February. That means on Sunday I leave for Mexico. I'm pretty excited to go on a hot holiday. I'm excited to kind of get away for a week and just chill out on the beach and do some excursions and just have some fun. So that's pretty thrilling. That's kind of what's been going on here. Work's been busy. Jessie's talking really fast, which is another thing that is probably fairly common by now. I pulled out some of the Hematite Burnt Scarlet Genuine. So this one has a peachy tone as you wash it out. And I brought that one in first just to start creating some shadows and making it a little bit more vintagey on our clock face. I'm so happy with the way this clock face turned out. It is everything I hoped it would be. I'm never sure how things are going to work out when I start. I don't pre-map out colors. I don't pre-pick colors. I don't really go into it with a plan. I just kind of print out the image that I want to paint and go from there. I'm adding some buff titanium to the outer edges of our butterfly wings. And then we're going to put some bright colors in the middle of them, which is something I really like to do with butterflies. There are different variations of this. You can get them where the butterflies have all of their like monarch pattern or whatever kind of butterfly they are. I chose to go with the ones that have no filling on the inside just so I could do a wash of color and kind of create it the way I wanted it to. I didn't want a pattern in them. I just wanted a gradient from the center color out to that buff titanium on the outside. But it is really nice that Marcella offers the different options on the butterflies, and that she also has one, I do believe, that has a simpler clock face. Don't quote me, but I'm going to guess that you get all of these images with your purchase of the image off of the website. So, but if not, just kind of go through them and see which one suits you best. I'm going in with a second coat of that Hematite Burnt Scarlet Genuine just to vintage it up a little bit more. I wanted those drop shadows a little bit stronger just to give it a little bit more depth to the image. It really pushes those butterflies that they are in front of and forward from that clock face, as opposed to just laying on top of it. If you guys could see me when I film or when I do voiceovers, my hands are all over the place. I think I talk more with my hands when I'm doing a voiceover, probably because I'm sitting in my basement alone talking to a microphone, than I talk with my hands at any other point in my entire life. I find it very odd. So I'm starting off here on the flowers with some opera pink, just pulling that out, giving them a light fade. I did keep the flowers very, very simple. There's not a ton of color in them. They aren't super bright and obnoxious, but I really like the delicate touch that the flowers ended up with when we're finished. So on all of those flowers and the little buds, I'm going to go through and put a little bit of the opera pink on as well. I did realize after that I did miss one butterfly with the buff titanium, but I do believe I do that off of screen, not on camera. Again, I could be wrong. I filmed this like 2 weeks ago, a couple weeks ago, something like that. And I'm just getting around to editing it for you guys now. So it's kind of a surprise for me as well. That's how I tend to do things. I'm never on schedule. I never go according to my own plans. It's terrible. I'm terrible. I need to get better at that. Opera pink is a beautiful color. It's a super bright, like it's a neon pink. The issue with it is if you're using it in any artwork that you're going to hang up or want to keep true to colors without scanning it or anything of that nature, it's very, very fugitive, so it will fade and fade lots. Just know that if you're looking, when you're going into using this color, that opera pink does not last. I am adding just a base wash of yellow to all of the gears now. I will after go in with my Fine Tech palette and add some actual gold paint over top of them just to make them shiny in real life. It doesn't photograph that well, but it looks really, really pretty in person. Now adding some brown onto our stems and just continuing on with the painting process. This is the new Daniel Smith color. So this is Phthalo Blue Turquoise. This is the new color for 2019 and it is stunning. It kind of falls right in between Phthalo Turquoise and Phthalo Blue Green shade. So it's a little greener than the Phthalo Blue and it's a little bluer than the Phthalo Turquoise. And I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. Did I need it? Probably not. But I bought it and I like it. So that's all that matters. If you're looking for a really, really pretty turquoise and you don't have 42 of them in your stash like I do, this is definitely one to consider. I think it's really pretty. I'm having a blast with it. So we're just putting that into the center of our butterflies and fading that out into that buff titanium color that I put on at the start. And that's all I got to say about that. I don't know what else to talk about, you guys. I got nothing. I've been painting and prepping and packing and getting ready to go. I'm working on our stems, making them a little bit darker. I decided they were a little too light and washed out. They needed a little more strength and color-wise to them. Adding some more pink into our flowers, just giving them a little bit of a washier feel. I don't blend it out perfectly. I just kind of dot it around and let it dry how it chooses to dry, as opposed to making it super picky. Adding yellow to the flower centers and dabbing some of that around the little stamens on the outside of it so that it blends into that pink. Going back in again with our clock face. Apparently I didn't think I was done with that yet. This time I'm using the hematite violet, so it's got a little more of a purpley undertone just to kind of make those shadows pop a little bit more. I kind of went all in on that clock face, didn't I? I'm happy with it if that's what matters. So I'm going in with a second coat of the Phthalo Blue Turquoise on the center of our butterflies. Having a great time playing with this color. This color's just been a blast. I really, really like it. I would dare to say that it's my current favorite. Now that could just be because it's new. So don't quote me on that. It might change in like 2 weeks when I'm a little more used to having it with me. I am taking it to Mexico with me in my palette, so we'll see then. I'm now adding some purples into the other two butterflies. I decided I didn't want all 4 of them blue, so I'm going in with quinacridone purple to start with and blending that one out, and then I'll put a little bit of dioxazine purple in it later. So getting those all ready to go. If you guys do paint this image, I would love to see what you do. Please share it on social media. I definitely check things out and see what other people are creating with images that really tickle my fancy. So it's always fun to see what you guys are making. Getting a little more dark with those colors, adding a little stronger pigment to the very center, not pulling it out as far as I did in the first coats, kind of building up on those layers. That's definitely a way I have discovered I like to paint. I don't like to go in with really, really heavy pigment load and try to blend it out and create smooth gradients of color. I'm very much a person who enjoys layering colors and slowly building up my depth of color and just having a blast that way as opposed to always mixing and getting exactly the color I want off the start, probably because I suck at that game. So if I layer them on top, I can just continue building them until I get what I want. That's kind of the beauty of watercolors, is that they're transparent and you can do that and always see the colors that you put underneath glowing on top. I am going in with that hematite violet now, just to finish off the centers of those butterflies and kind of deepen them up a little bit more without adding more color to them. I just wanted to have some shadow in where they kind of crimp into the butterfly's body. And then I do believe I take that hematite violet and, oh, I'm putting it on the centers of the flowers. I didn't know I did that. I did think that was the color I used on the bodies of our butterflies as well. Now I'm painting up those gears with our fine tech here. I'm just using one of the gold colors out of the palette. It's more towards the bronzy side, I suppose. I'm not covering everything completely, but I'm putting it in there and kind of blending it out and fading it into the rest. I'm really happy with the way those turned out, though, on all of our images. They're super shiny in person. It really makes me happy. I like shiny things. Finishing off our last little gear here. Oh my goodness, you guys. I have talked for 11 minutes and haven't had to pause the voiceover. That is an accomplishment. I've been babbling a lot, but it's still an accomplishment that I'm doing it in one take. You should be proud of me. I'm proud of me. I'll give me a round of applause for that one. So going back in with that hematite violet to paint in our butterflies' bodies and add a little more shading to the center of the wings there. Just kind of sloppily putting it on. It turned out really pretty. And I think that's about all she wrote, you guys. I'm going to, oh, nope. Going to add some darker color around the outside of our stamen just to put some shadows on our flowers here and make them not look quite so stark white. That's the nice thing about adding just a touch of color, is they read almost as a white flower, but they have a little bit of a pink hue to them. I thought that was really pretty. A little more yellow to the center of our flowers. Adding a little more green in there just to darken up our leaves. Oh, that does make a difference. I was like, why did I do that? But it does make a difference. A little bit of shadow on our flower buds. And then we'll start adding in the background. Oh, no, I forgot about that. The ring around the clock. I used yellow. Probably quinacridone gold. I can't see it, but that's my guess. This is lunar blue. I'm coming in with just very, very watered down lunar blue, so it granulates a lot. So it kind of lays out really pretty on our paper, and I'm just putting a light coat around the entire outside of the image, just kind of filling in all of that white space to give it a little bit of color back there. And that's all I did for this card, you guys. All I did after this was cut it down to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches and paste it onto an A2 top folding note card. So again, I will have the link to this image in the description box below. If you guys like the video, I'd love for you to give it a thumbs up. It helps me out a ton. If you aren't subscribed and you'd like to see more, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will definitely get back to you guys, but it might not be till after I get back from Mexico. Have a great day. Bye for now.